Hi, I'm Anna.
And I'm Ben.
We are AutoSave. Welcome to our channel.
Today we are watching the season finale of CyberPunk Edgerunners, episode 10. Last we left off, David has equipped the cyber skeleton. It is scary and big.
Faraday tricked him, somehow using Lucy's voice to do so.
Just like a USB to USB Type A connection allowed him to be able to utilize her voice, which was...
And she was a little too late to correct that wrong and tell him to not put it on.
Becca was trying to, but you can only do so much against David's will.
Yeah, I would say that was probably my favorite part of last episode, was kind of trying to get inside Becca's mind and how she probably felt in last episode.
Yeah, now we have Falco, Becca, and David going to try to rescue Lucy. I'm excited to see how it plays out. I'm nervous. I have a question. Do you think that we're even going to see Kiwi again? Do you think Kiwi's just, like, noped out of there? Like,
I feel like Kiwi got her bag and left.
Yeah. All right. You ready?
Yeah, let's have more explosions.
Sweet.
The last time we'll be hearing this little intro. At the very end of the intro, there's David on the ground and then a person standing over him.
A building standing over him. Not a good omen.
No.
Oh, God. Jesus.
Why did I think we were just going to think of them as, like, nameless, bloody corpses that we wouldn't feel bad about? And then they had to do this. Look at his eyes.
That's not good.
He'll buy him 5. I trust you, Falco. Gotta always trust a cowboy.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Falco!
As good or almost as good as the door coming down on top of that car and the people coming out with the guns.
God, it's crazy to think that there are still higher-ups, you know?
Stir up a storm and hide in the dust.
Yet even this leap I consider only a single step in my ascent. Night City does not reward complacency.
Kiwi.
Kiwi, what's the holdup? Go on.
Didn't think it possible, but he's dipping in and out of cyber psychosis.
He's clearly resilient for a chrome junkie. But it's nothing Arasaka can.
Did my part, so I'm skipping town. Zipping my head, we're done.
I'm en route to deliver the runner girl to Arasaka. I'll need you as backup.
Uh-oh.
Hmm.
We owe ourselves that much.
How sweet of you.
I mean, contract closed would have been such a great ending to the conversation. Is she second guessing doing this?
Maybe. Now that she has to actually get more involved with it, more directly involved.
Is there no way out?
Wow.
Don't walk. Don't walk. Oh, that timing.
Kind of reminded me of Maine's desert.
By the time you hit the last vial, understand this. Whatever's still left of you, Davy, we'll slingshot the other way. Straight over the edge.
Oh, God.
Oh, and Becca said he was on the edge.
Jesus. Oh my God!
Brilliant! It's like the worst speed bump ever.
You have to work hard and rise through the ranks.
Look at his face.
I know I can. I'll do my best.
All right, David. Let's go to the top then.
If I start losing it,
That's what he was talking about.
David's meds don't think they're gonna work anymore. We knock on Sokka's door.
David and Max.
It's like his last wish.
Gotta get him to Lucy. She's the only one who can maybe bring him back. Else.
Oh.
Is that so? Such a shame. No special exceptions. Even you.
Nice.
Coming up on the tower. The hell do we
It's weird because I know that Kiwi betrayed us, but I still like am rooting for her against Faraday. Oh my god! Holy shit! Oh no.
We need to stop him before he makes matters even worse.
He has to burn out on his own. No one can stop him now.
I can think of one individual who can. Adam Smasher.
No.
How long ago was he alive?
He's an extreme solution.
Here already.
Oh,
Fourth
stop.
corporate war, right?
Skeleton was originally designated for him.
I know I sure as shit ain't. Max Tech Freak's coming down! What the hell? Hey! It's gonna leave us here! Mama! Mom!
That man or a Mac?
Just keep shooting! Wait! Arasaka's handling the rest!
Oh.
Becca,
Down to one last one.
guess my clock's finally running out.
Falco.
Kiwi, huh?
Huh? That two-timing monkey killer!
got you too, did he?
Yep.
Really expect us to trust you?
I know. Just hasn't been your day.
And Lucy, she with Faraday right now? You want that corp hugger dead, blood for blood.
No, it's not like that. Taught Lucy never to trust a soul in this city. Some point or other. Just figure. Faraday's
No.
long overdue to learn them. Go get her for me.
Get her for me.
Kiwi's a flatline boss, man. Nasty business.
Are you hearing the
Oh,
screaming in the
yeah.
background?
That can't be David!
Keep them on course for the dog. You'll meet them there.
Adam Smasher.
Someone would have to take the fall. And surely you knew it would. Make sure that mangy fixer never makes it past the loading dock. Expect you'll have some fun, Smasher?
It's a child's toy reliant on anti-grav training wheels.
Training wheels.
My time.
Oh my god.
Look at the lines. Look, his
Yeah.
face is drawn.
I'm here. Very top of Arasaka Tower. One last vial left. Hey,
Oh, the awareness.
Leaning over the edge, it's all over. Doesn't matter if you're special or not. You were right,
All the edges.
but there's no other way. Not for me.
The moon.
I brought the runner girl, didn't I? Alive and worth the full million, as agreed.
Do you know what happens to dogs who have a habit of misbehaving?
You'd waste this chance.
You will not step 1 foot inside the facility.
You must surely see you cannot afford to keep me off your payroll.
But we have no further use for you if you're unable to provide data on the cyber skeleton. You're a son. Lucy.
The fear.
Holy shit.
Skeleton returned to you as promised.
Oh, oh my god, his leg.
You ain't flatlining.
Oh, he's gonna make you suffer. Oh no.
Faster, hurry! Go on, kill the boy!
He doesn't follow your commands.
So this is Adam Smasher in the Chrome, NC Boogeyman of Legend.
Your size, boy.
Heard you went noGanic, full Borg, so I gotta ask, any brain left in that clone of yours?
Hey, I'm special.
Oh.
Who the fuck am I?
Drop my team! This is 110812 to HQ.
Can you really afford distractions now?
Oh.
David, come on! Can you hear me? David, come back to me!
Lucy.
I didn't want any of this.
It's the only way I could protect you from this damn city. My mom, Maine, and the others in our crew.
All I ever wanted was for you to live.
But you still have a dream to stick around for. That's my dream. Honestly, nothing else ever really mattered.
Oh.
What a shot.
We're gonna give it a
Fun! Settle in, get comfy.
I'm starting to run low on lead.
Oh.
Gone brain.
I need a favor.
No rest at all. Glad you're back safe. For David's sake. We're having a moment here!
Rebecca!
You have a San Devistan?
A rudimentary implant.
Mentary implant.
Right on schedule.
Holy.
Is this the favor?
None leave the slaughterhouse.
Get distracted much.
Oh.
Oh.
Boy, you. Getting a special cause you're scratchy.
Falco! Turn back!
No can do. David's final request. If I turn around now, he dies for nothing. We already have.
The jacket.
David wants us to.
Sorry. Wish we could go to the moon together.
I had some fun after all. You could prove an interesting construct.
Like I give a shit.
Oh, well.
Stop.
Whoa, check this! I can feel the sun!
Okay, that was CyberPunk Edgerunners, Season 1, Episode 10. Anyway, so Episode 10, Season 1, I don't think that there's going to be a Season 2, and I really hope there isn't.
I completely agree. Unless a season 2 was to completely move the scope onto a different person, a different scenario, a different storyline. Maybe there was even possible mention to certain people from this storyline, but focusing on someone else in this universe,
Yeah.
that would be okay with me.
So it might sound like a dumb like thought, like I hope there isn't a season 2, but I've seen similar shows where they take a direction. For example, if they were like, okay, David's gonna become the next Atom Smasher, he's gonna be full cyborg, Lucy's gonna try to like, no, like this finale did something to me that enriched the entire series. All the previous episodes I feel like have been heightened because of this finale.
Yes, I totally agree with you. This episode was needed.
Oh god,
there was
yeah.
something about it that completely just encapsulated it, made it this. We talk a lot about how much we love when things are a standalone work, and how an ending can kind of just make everything feel whole and full. And I completely agree with you that this last episode enriched all the other episodes.
Yep. The song that they play at the end that they've played before, like it's on one of our playlists for like driving to work. I don't care that I've heard it like 30 times now. When they use it, it is so specific and the timing is so well done that it brings out so much emotion in me.
So not only is like the timing bringing out emotion, but when you are able to read the lyrics to songs at the same time that you're watching the action, it almost like pushes the emotion even further. Like there were some lines in that song, and then the kind of timing of what visual you were seeing at the same time of it, it almost was like pushing you to feel at this like ebb and flow of emotion that was making you almost feel like you needed to cry.
Yeah.
And but also feel somewhat kind of similar to Lucy's facial expressions at the end, where when she sees David, you know, you can tell that she immediately starts to like freeze up and get emotional and get really sad, and then it kind of turns into like almost like a sigh type of smile looking up at the sun.
Yeah.
And then kind of just reaching her hands out, and there's a removal of the music there that
before it like comes back in.
I think there was 2 removals of the music, like 2 silences possibly in that ending, and both of them were so perfect that it almost made you catch your breath. Like you were like tensed up a little bit.
It's hard. Okay, so when I used to do like editing for like skits or like stuff before we did the channel, when I used to edit a lot of videos, one thing that like I never could convey to like other people, especially if I was directing them in, you know, editing, there's like this feeling, you know, in timing when it's like, okay, no, like it needs to be like half a second prior before the music comes in, and it's like, well, why? And it's like it's hard to explain it. It's just like a you know, it comes back in, and it's just so phenomenally done. I don't know if the editor is still Yoshitaka. I believe that was his name in episode 4, but oh my god, the editing this episode was outrageous. Like the animation, don't get me wrong, I think this is by far my favorite episode of the series. I think the animation was the best it has been, but the editing for me just blows it out of the
there
water,
were some
man.
transitions, some visual choices of what turns into what in the next scene that I remember us like heavily appreciating it in the beginning of watching this show, and then I don't know if we were just like more minded on what the plot and the story were doing, that we weren't paying attention as much to that, or what. But there was something about this episode that brought me back to those same kind of feelings that I had when we first watched this show, when we first started, like episode 1, 2, where we were really heavily like, wow, this editing and that choice they just made. Yeah.
I think that towards like episode like 5 to 7, like they were really good episodes, but what you were saying by like the editing, like there was something that I was getting used to it almost, and I was like, okay, all right, this is fine, this is good. But this episode highlights what I've found so special about the series. If there's one thing that I connect to and love most about the series, it's probably the editing for me.
I would describe the editing in this series as a whole as if you were listening to an orchestra and one instrument starts and you can really hear every distinct note that instrument is playing, and then others start building on top of it. You can still kind of make out that one that you were listening to originally, and then at the end all the others pull out again, and you're now just listening to that one instrument again. And I feel like that to me is what these 10 episodes were.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Especially in the editing. That was like...
I loved all the callbacks. Like, it's stuff that, like... It's not like, oh, anime, I'm going to remind you something that you forgot. No, it's intentional and purposeful. And I really, really love it because it adds to the story. It gives another layer of depth to David's character, especially when he's recalling what his mom said to him. Like, and what she wants him to be. And standing on top of Arasaka's tower and then where he was.
Okay. I am so thankful in terms of character writing and ending writing. Endings are the hardest thing to write. We say this often. Endings are terrifying. Mm-hmm. If I was a writer, I would be terrified of ending my story.
You're guaranteed to make somebody upset before you even pick up a pen.
Yes. And before we got into this episode, we were both kind of trying to figure out what would be a satisfying ending in terms of what would happen to David's character. Mm-hmm. And what we saw is almost foreshadowing of what was going to happen to his character. But I feel incredibly thankful, especially partnered with the lyrics for the ending song, that they kind of took him to this line of cyberpsychosis, and he didn't have to completely fall over it.
He didn't lose himself in the end.
You didn't lose your self-control is a line in the song. And there's something that I feel so satisfied about that line in that song and what David's demise, I guess, was. That he didn't lose his self-control. He didn't lose himself at the end. That smile right before he gets shot in the head. And then it's the same smile that Lucy sees when she is on the moon. That is him. That is David. He did not lose himself. They took him to an edge, if you will. Yeah. And I'm so satisfied that they didn't push him off it.
I love Maine more than anyone. But at the end of the day, he was only human, right? And that's why he lost himself to that degree. But David, I think, proved to himself and to us as an audience that, he was special, just because you're special doesn't mean that you're never gonna die.
You're not gonna die. You're immortal.
His tolerance and he held up against Atom Smash. Bro, Atom Smasher came back from what? The fourth corporate war. What the hell? Full cyborg.
Literally, and Atom Smasher used the word meat a lot.
Yeah.
And it was so cool to see this Atom Smasher character learn about kind of what makes him, and also kind of remember back to earlier conversations with Ripper Doc of David saying that he feels much more comfortable in metal than his own skin. But David never went that far.
Yep.
David's still meat. As in the words of this show,
he said all the same meat to me.
He's still a lot organic.
Yeah, yeah. I can't believe Becca's dead.
So I actually wrote down having him and Becca die together. No one else died. Him and Becca died here, and there's something about it.
Kiwi
and I'm
died. Falco.
But okay, well, I meant together here.
Gotcha.
In this moment, in this final kind of Kiwi had already, she called, but she had already kind of been a major player in the ending, demise. But there was something that I found that really, which the last couple episodes, Becca's character has really stood out to me in this kind of heart-wrenching, almost, I feel like on an emotional level, I feel like Becca's character has some of the best to offer.
Oh, yeah.
In terms of the actual anguish that you could imagine that she was feeling as someone with unrequited love who is watching the person that they love lose themselves, but that you're not the one that can save them. And she even says I need to get him to Lucy. Lucy's the only one who possibly has a chance. There's something so heartbreaking that then she dies with him, basically, or that
It's so good. I like what they did with Kiwi's character too. It was a little bit like, okay, she's gonna call now. Like, whatever. I am glad that she did, and I'm glad that she did in memory and reference of Lucy and what she told Lucy, you know?
It almost makes this seem like Lucy was the actual real main character.
Yeah.
Because the story is that all of these characters put these people into place and put Lucy into this place, and then in the end chose to save Lucy and protect Lucy over their own life.
God, Lucy's life is so tragic, man. Like, she seems to be just like a magnet for death, even though that she's like, no, very outwardly spoken, I want to keep you alive. Do not do this shit anymore. What's important to me is that you live. And because of how the dice or the cards are dealt, like, she's the one who survives, you know? She's a survivor at the end of the day.
There's also this thing with dreams that at the end here, see, David and Lucy, their kind of last conversation before now was this fight, if you will, about David not kind of living by his own dreams, and that his dreams were his mother's and Maine's. But in the end here in this episode, he says to her that her dream and her being alive is his dream. And I really liked that too, as kind of a wrap up, a tying of a bow.
Yeah.
On their kind of relationship and where they left off before having to save each other, basically.
I definitely want to play the game.
Just to see the world.
Well, yeah, and I think that I don't know what if I'm told that this is it for Cyberpunk Edgerunners and that's confirmed, then I can explore like the production more of it, which I'd love to, because if anything, like, yeah, amazing series standalone, but it does make you want to participate in that world and give it a shot yourself, you know?
I think one of the main reasons that I would want to participate in the world and or have another look into it is, oddly enough, Atom Smasher. There's something about this ending of this kind of almost godlike character that just comes in right at the end and just annihilates.
Yeah.
That you're like left with all these, I want to kind of see how this guy became this cyborg, or is he going to always kind of be that kind of
what was he
strongest
like before he was a cyborg? What led him to that path? Was it similar to David?
And is he always going to be the strongest?
Yeah.
Is he always going to be the postmark of the person that can handle the most chrome?
What happens to Ripper Doc? I don't know. I'm happy that we watched this show.
Me too.
The editing, I think, is really going to stay with me for a while. I know it's a broken record, but it was just really good.
I always appreciate, there are a couple things that I majorly appreciate. Dialogue, of course, is one of them. But for this show in particular, it kind of hit two of the other things that I really, really appreciate. I really love to focus on creative and unique, not what you'd expect, compositioning, like for the kind of screen board.
Yeah.
The storyboard. And so composition, the color, all of that, really great. The editing choices. It wasn't often that there was something really wild and crazy, but when in terms of the editing, but when it did happen, obviously, since it's really in my mind, the ending when David gets shot in the head and the blood comes out in the circle, and it transitions to a bird's eye view of something we saw in the first episode, which is those fish floating around.
The koi.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like it looks like my tattoo a little bit.
Yeah.
But no, I know exactly what you mean, man. And it's like it's also weird to be like, oh wow, that's the most brutal thing in the world. But the whole point that's the point.
Mm-hmm. And then the bird's eye view takes you to another circular thing, which is the Earth from the moon. There's a transition there that is very nice, very appealing.
One thing I want to like applaud, and I'm applauding it for my, I think, sometimes like stupidity in watching shows. They made it very clear that this is real, that like Lucy was actually visiting the moon here. Mm-hmm. And if they didn't say like, like make the emphasis of like, oh, enjoy your trip to the moon. Here are other people too. I think that one could potentially think,
Theorize. or
yeah, like if it
imagine.
was another brain dance or something. But like, oh, this doesn't compare to any brain dances. I was like, thank you for just making that set in stone, so I don't even have to think about it and just appreciate what the story's doing.
And the only reason she was able to get there was that David told Falco he wanted Lucy and him to split the money.
Yep. There's something about like the expression of David, you touched on it earlier, but it hasn't changed, you know? And that's what, like, I love that.
I think David completely embodies something that Adam Smasher calls him. Adam Smasher says, you think you're special because you're scrappy.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think like David really does embody a kind of scrappy character, but there is that element of he is special. He didn't go out and lose himself. So in general, he's
Yeah.
special. He didn't have to have the most kind of traumatic end. Obviously, yeah, getting shot in the head is a traumatic end, and having a dead friend next
He knew
to
what he
you.
was getting himself into,
But
though.
you didn't lose yourself on top of it. So,
It's awesome to see.
mhm.
All right, that's all I have you.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for watching CyberPunk Edgerunners with us. If you enjoyed, thanks for hanging out. Subscribe if you don't want to. That's cool too. But have a good day. Thanks for watching the show with us. See ya.